Hello, everybody. Jolt's here with Galactic Empire,
Yo, what's up, guys?
and finally bringing you the PRs for speed that you were waiting for. I hope. Otherwise, who am I doing this for? Nim also helped us on this, but time zones are a B word, so he is not here right now. But essentially, we ranked all the 16 teams. All three of us had our own rankings, and we kind of averaged them out for our final list. I don't know how you went about it, but I mainly checked how well they supported like their big busted team because this season you can pick basically an Uber that we kind of complex bands to like ban U-turn or ban like speed boosting moves, whatever, on depending on them on. And I saw how well they
Yeah,
supported that and just what else was missing or was lacking from the team. I don't know. How you went about it?
I did it based off of a couple things. I obviously looked at some cores. I looked at some hazards. I looked at their first mon overall, what they
Mm-hmm.
drafted, how they used their draft to support that Pokemon, which should be used as one of their main either wall breakers or however they want to use that mon. How well they drafted around those high tier mons was a really big factor for me.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, we got our list. If the just if you're low or high, it doesn't mean we hate your team or we think your team is terrible or whatever. It's just you got to make your ranking
Yeah, we
somehow.
were
And
honestly surprised how close some of them were to each
yeah,
other. Because honestly, I think anywhere between probably 12 to 5, there was a large gap. I mean, a large group kind of bunched together that we just kind of threw together
yeah, I gotta say like
based
there's
off
a
personal preference,
a
I
lot.
think.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams I was very impressed by. Not a single team that I actually that I hate that I think are unplayable or anything. Not even the bottom one, which we'll get to now.
Yeah, there's some great utility to it as well. They're gonna have some fun with it this season.
Yeah, so starting with number 16, we got Z-Man, which I guess you saw this coming, didn't you, Z-Man, when you have that round 3 Emolga, like, what you really expect?
So yeah, you placed him 16th. I went ahead and I know Nim did the same thing. We placed ourselves last, and then we only calculated the average between the other two
Yeah.
for the rating for myself and Nim. So while rating myself 16th, I rated Z-Man 14th. I think he has some fun utility on this team and against some fun team, another team, he could have some real fun with it.
Yeah, to be fair, it's not just the Emolga that made me rank him so low. I do think, honestly, even before the Emolga, like, I'm not sure about the Dormanitan pick after the Cinderace. I don't see how they help
Yeah.
each other in any real way. I think the team has a lot of issues. I was actually impressed how well it was still able to pick up like that late game the Crossma Scissor Zygarde like that
Yeah,
did a lot for
absolutely.
it. Yeah, that actually did a lot for it. So it's not an unplayable
Oh,
team by any means, but like what I put down here, I think it's Rock Weak. Rock is really spammable. Like its only real resist is Zygarde. Uh,
yeah,
Super Fairy Weak, just again just one resist Scissor. I guess Cinderace too, but like you don't want to take hits with Cinderace.
not too much. Yeah. I
Speed.
mean, the couple things that I've noticed and everything, I do like the Grimmsnarl. Pick up the Prankster screens will be huge for this team. That
Mm,
will help a lot of his Mons because
true.
you have an enormous amount of Pokemon on his team that are 4 times weak to certain moves. Mega Heracross, Flying, Omastar, Grass, Scizor, Fire, and Zygarde and Appleton both quad weak to Ice.
Well, Appleton has stick fat, so not really, but yeah.
So I'm looking forward to see how I why I rated this team not last was because of mainly the Grimmsnarl. I want to see how he can use those screens to help with his team like Mega Heracross and Zygarde. Zygarde stuck behind screens is
Hmm.
nasty.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe even a Necrozma behind screens too. I mean, those are going to be hard to take down once behind screens.
yeah, I think screens just to help Necrozma or Zygarde set up goes a lot. Mega
Yeah.
Heracross also can just go in a lot more behind screens because that's that safety net there.
Yeah,
I
and
do
won't
like
be
that.
able to take as much damage from spammable moves.
Yeah, the team is almost entirely physical though. I do have to mention like Necrozma got that, and I suppose Almastar if you really want to, but like the rest of the team is like all physical ones.
Yeah.
Like the ones that I'm not actually counting. If you're actually bringing Emolga to a lot of your matches, good for you. But like I'm not really counting it as a real mon here. Um, yeah. So sorry, but somebody has to be less. Move on to number 15. We got Aaron with a Shaman Sky team. What do you think of this team?
What it says there, I look at it and I see it is massive Edgequake weak. That was my main reason. I put this one last. I looked at it and I saw Edgequake just completely destroying this
Mm-hmm.
team. There are good elements. I like Mega Chomp now with Scale Shot. Um, I like the web option with Slurpuff. Regieleki is arguably one of the better rapid spinners in the game now,
Mm-hmm.
minus the fact that it basically only has electric moves, so it's very one dimensional. Overall, though, and everything, this isn't a horrible team. I just think that you're going to struggle against teams that um, have Edgequake or Ice moves
Yeah,
4 times week.
Ice Move in
Shaman,
particular
Mega Guard
too.
Chomp.
Yeah, having both Shaman and Garchomp boosted, you have two decent switch-ins in Jirachi and Incineroar. I'll give you that. But
Yeah,
your water isn't resistant to ice. You have the Mantine there. I'm really just why go for a Garchomp when your main mon is Shaman? Like this thing, every mon that can pack an ice move is gonna pack an ice move now. So those mons are gonna be much less effective because you know that anything that has the coverage for it will be able to hit them and kill them probably.
yeah, like Shaman Sky paired up with Jirachi is perfectly
Yeah,
fine, but you added Mega Garchomp into it and it kind of messed it up.
yeah. So I don't know if you can play around that. Who knows? Maybe you'll make it work, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to number 14, we got Nim, who isn't here right now. Too bad, otherwise he could have explained this team himself. Um, this is I kind of wrote on. I think it's a weird team. Like I'm not really sure what he's going for here.
I'm not really 100% sure either. He has a couple of repeat types here. He has the double steel type in Klefki and Kartana.
Hmm.
I know he still has the double psychic type in Deoxys Speed and Uxie. Um and then there was another one. What was I thinking? Or did he trade that one off in he may have traded that one off in post draft.
Mm.
But he had a couple of types where normally you don't see overlap and everything, specifically for the utility used. Kieran Black is a fantastic mon, and like I said, you need to be if you're able to build around Kieran Black well, it can basically do whatever you want it to do. Um, like that being said, though, Klefki does get prankster screens.
Hmm.
So Kieran Black behind screens will be nasty, so you need to make sure you have a way to deal with that. Um, speed, uh, speed tiers are pretty good. They could be a little
Mm.
bit better. But my main issue with this team is minus, like I said, I think cleft keywork with the screens. There's just not a huge amount of support for the Kieran Black.
Yeah, that's exactly my thing too. Like Klefki, with Kieran Black, you want a good steel and you want a good fairy, and what technically Klefki is both. It's a steel that doesn't resist steel and a fairy that doesn't resist fighting,
Yeah,
and that's something you both want for Kieran.
yeah,
He does that Cortana there too as like an extra steal, but you don't want to take if it's a special thing that you're worried about. Cortana does nothing for you.
no, nothing. Yeah, it just bolsters a fire weakness that you've covered fairly well with the lower draft in Stunfisk and Mega Blastoise. But to be honest, I mean, you're not bringing Carkol a whole lot, so
Yeah,
you're going to be relying on Mega Blastoise and Stunfisk, maybe not really even Stunfisk, but basically Mega Blastoise to take the hits, and that means you're going to have to bring it bulky some weeks, and that leaves just Deoxys Speed available for any kind of special attacks.
yeah, that's the other thing. Like its team is almost entirely physical. I guess Kieran can be kind of mixed if you put enough investment in it, but yeah, then you got the Deoxys who won't last very long. That's usually my experience with Deoxys. It's only 6 rounds
Yeah.
for a few turns. And yeah, the Blastoise is the only real special attacker after that. And also, like I when I see a Mega Blastoise, I always look at like what else can it do in the team, and I don't think it's just a normal Mega Blastoise. You can't use like terrain balls or anything in this team.
Yeah, I like seeing Mega Blastoise on teams. If you use Mega Blastoise with a team that works well, it makes it almost impossible to kill. It looks like Mega
Mhm.
Blastoise was just thrown on here as the water type for the team.
Yeah. Oh well. Too bad Nim isn't used to that himself. But
Yep.
moving on. 13 is Ollie Boy. Really, the Pole team actually ranked this low, and we'll get to why.
Yeah.
Especially in a Pole team, like you need good Dark Resist, and I think this team doesn't have that at all.
No.
Yes, True Resist, it's Weavile and Rabombi, and both of them are extremely frail. Like you can't switch them into much.
Mm,
Yeah, it has
especially with Rock.
yeah Rabombi in particular. I find such a weird pick. Like that's a web setter, and you already have a really fast team in Bolt and Weavile. I guess Medicham does go kind of ham in webs, but other than that, you don't really need it in this team. Like you have plenty of speed. You have plenty of speed control here. You don't need webs. You need a better fairy, which you don't have.
Yeah. I think didn't he have Florges? I think he had Florges, and I believe he traded Florges out for Rabombi webs because he originally had Volta's webs, and in free agency, I kind of snagged that from him
Mm.
because I realized my mistake in wanting the better web setter myself. So I kind of snagged that when he got rid of it, and I'm pretty sure he originally had Florges.
Well, should have kept it. I know people dunk on Florges, but I think it actually worked in this team. Would have worked.
It would have been a little bit more useful,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, you would have been then talking about potential for maybe a little bit of a ground weakness then.
Mm.
Um, but it's still not that big of a deal when Rabombi is very weak. Not going to be able to take a
Yeah.
whole lot, anyways.
I see what he was going for. Like he started with the Medi to like beat Darks, right? And then he
Yeah,
brought the Weavile to like beat the bulky psychics that Medi doesn't beat. But he already has the bolt for the bulky psychics kinda. So
yeah. I
again,
mean,
I'm not.
like you said
Yeah.
in this, with what you have written down, the strengths and everything, he has a powerful main core,
Yeah.
and it's going to be hard to find answers to deal with them without having to take damage. However, like I said, those strong dark types and everything will kind of eat this team alive.
Yeah. He does have great fairy switch-ins, though. I'll give him that. Like Heatran and Nidoqueen, like fairies aren't going to be a problem for him, despite having Medicham and
No,
Weavile there. Like against
yeah,
fairies,
no,
well prepped. Yeah.
yeah. Dragapult, Mega Medicham, and Weavile are all weak to Fairy. However, he has good Fairy switch-ins in
Yeah.
Nidoqueen and Heatran.
Okay. I think that's about all. Moving on to number
Yep.
12, Ballhawk. Yeah, it's the
Oh, this is a weird team. It's like kind of like a half-ass rain team mixed with something.
yeah. I wrote that down. Like he has a lot going on. It's a rain team with the Politoed, the Swampert, and the Thorn. Then it's also kind of a Trick Room team with the Deoxys Melm, and he also has electric terrain in the back with Pincurchin if he really wants to. I guess if like that's what he wants to. If
I
like
suppose. I mean, that kind of
Pincurchin
works
Zero
with the
Aura. Yeah,
Zeraora.
kinda.
And even the Zeraora may or may not work with the rain and everything. I can see utility for it, but
Yeah, Melm is okay in the rain because it like
yeah,
makes
Melm is fine in the rain, but then it looks like it's two different teams thrown together.
yeah. That was kind of my main issue with it too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do like Torn and Zera together. Like immediately get that really good electric switch in is
yeah,
good. Yeah, the speed tiers were pretty decent too. I think and like yeah, Torn's pretty fast. Mega Swampert in the range really fast. They wrote down that he is ground weak. Like that's just a straight up thing. Almost
yeah,
his entire like
and removal.
his grass is Eldegoss, which is probably not going to come to a lot. So his only real switch
Yeah,
in is Torn, which means you gotta predict the stone edges. If you predict
yep,
wrong once, an earthquake just becomes so extremely spammable against him.
yep.
Yeah, and yeah, removal is could have been better. Yes, Torment, Defog, Eldegoss, Spin, I think, right? And that's about it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, rocks aren't going to be a huge problem, I don't think. With assuming Torn is probably going to be running
boots. Yeah,
heavy duty boots.
yeah,
So they're not going to be a huge problem and everything. So I think if he wants to have rocks up on his side of the field and everything, won't be a huge problem. Assuming he's going to want to get some rocks up of his own on the opposite side of the field, depending on that. However, he doesn't have a huge amount of options to set up um, hazards as well.
yeah.
So I do question. if you don't have that good removal, saying you're not going to be having a problem with it. If you're not going to set up on the other side of the field, then you're probably going to get rid of the ones on your side. It's still going to be a hindrance.
Mm-hmm. Also,
I'm
just
thinking
notice
mainly for like Gengar.
he doesn't have a fairy, does he? No. So that's why
No,
dark.
he doesn't have a yeah, he
Yeah,
doesn't have a fairy.
that's why
Dark types are going to be huge too.
exactly.
Gengar, Deoxys defense,
Yep. Well,
Delphox.
true. Well, good luck, Balog. Hope it works out for you.
Yep.
Then we got you, number 11.
Fun.
Why
I'll let
don't
you go first.
okay, want me to tear down your team so you can defend it? No, okay. I put down it's a fairly slow team. I think you knew that. Salazzle is your fastest mon. Other than that, but you got like Swift Sim or Maldo. How fast does it even get? So yeah, it's you do have webs. Like I do think this team definitely needs web. This team makes use of webs really well, but like it also kind of relies on it in a lot of ways. Your Shifu
In some
Lando,
ways, yeah.
yeah, Urshifu Lando and Dracovish can all really go ham on webs. Even guard. Like you have a bunch
Yeah,
of like
Mega Gardevoir can do well with webs as well.
yeah, you have a bunch of like those
It's,
mid tier speed mons that like get that extra boost from the webs that can really make him go ham. But
yeah.
that being said, you could have gone for some faster mons, I think. Also,
My
fly.
main goal
Yeah.
was Regieleki was my main goal there. Get a couple faster mons, but by the time that I wanted to, all of them were gone. So I
Mm,
say, well, let's just kind of switch gears a little bit.
yeah. And yeah, I brought down flying is extremely spammable against you. Like your
Yeah,
only
this
switch in
this
is do blades, I suppose.
Blade,
So
yeah,
depending on the type of flying, like hurricane, you set up the rain yourself for hurricanes. If you're against a strong hurricane mon on the opposite side, I think you might be in some trouble.
yeah. I tend to agree with that and everything. So, like I said, my main goal for this one here was Urshifu and Mega Mawile was what I really wanted.
Hmm.
I didn't get it. Never tried Lando. Wanted to try some Lander Asterion action.
Hmm.
And then after that and everything, I just tried to build a little bit around trying to keep Urshifu alive. And then round 5, Dracovish was just sitting there. And I'm just like, thank you. And that's when I kind of wanted to kind of figure out if I could work around Dracovish a little bit more, um, covering some weaknesses, trying to get some rapid spin options, work on hazard control. And then later rounds and everything, I realized I could potentially do a little bit of like a small rain course. I picked up Armaldo. It gives me some rock options, rapid spin. It boosts Dracovish in the rain with Pelipper and Swift Swim with Armaldo. So I just kind of created a small little rain core there that I can shove on the side if I
Hmm.
need to. And then Mega Gardevoir, I got last round. I kind of snooped around and saw if I could hold off on getting that a little earlier.
You too, huh? Yeah.
Um,
I know in PB, I think it was Spitfire who like I think he DM'd the people who still could
yeah,
get a
I
mega to see
DM'd
if
3 or 4 people and everything. Yeah, well, what are you thinking about? I'd like to get it this round, but like I'd like to hold off too. If you're gonna say this mega, I mean, I'm getting it this round. I mean, that's
yeah,
the
no,
plan.
that's
But
fair enough, fair enough. I just think it's really typical that like two people got Mega Gardevoir last round, and both of them snooped around to see if they could get away with that.
well,
So,
my
yeah.
main concern was Hawaiian Shaman because they got Mega Altaria, and I was like, let's see how this goes.
Mm,
And they were 2 picks before me in the draft, so they got like depending on when I was picking, they had an option to have 2 picks within like 10 picks and everything of me. So it was not ideal
yeah.
if I did not know what Shaman wanted. So
You think
um,
you think this is
but I love Mega Gardevoir. It's so versatile.
yeah, I love it too. Do you think this is a fair ranking for you? I think I had you a little higher. If you try to objectively rank your team, would you be around here? You think or?
I probably would have put me a little touch higher than this.
Mm.
I told y'all to put me a little bit lower because I'm doing rankings here, so I'm pretty sure I was tied for 10th.
You were actually tied. Yeah, that's true.
I would have put myself probably like a 9 or a 10, so it would have been around this area
Mm.
anyways.
Okay,
Um, so I'm really don't have any problems with where I'm at.
sure. All right. Well, let's see who you tied with. It was Pickle Nugget.
The pickle nugget.
The Pickle Nuggets. Yeah, Rodanier is a nicely balanced team. Like he didn't, he was pretty late in drafts. We didn't get anything busted, but like he just went guard jump, mega scissor, like all of this. This looks like a normal draft team. It looks like a perfectly fine draft team.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
Really well balanced. There's no main weaknesses that I see type wise. They're covered pretty well.
Hmm.
It's just when it minus the main core, you when you start to go down a little bit, you do start to wonder um, about those. I mean, he has good hazards, but you start to wonder a little bit about the support core of the team.
Hmm.
I don't mean you have Chansey and everything, but no cleric
Like
per se.
Chansey as a cleric.
Yeah, I suppose I see it. I personally see Chansey as more of a special defensive wall.
Well, yeah, but like it can wish pass and heal bow perfectly fine.
Yeah, I suppose. That's just my personal viewpoint on Chansey.
Okay, well. Yeah, but I wrote
But
down his fastest mon is a elf, which is not ideal. He has a similar issue to you, where like he could have gone with a bit higher speed, or at least like
a little bit, yeah.
have a more of a consistent mon than his elf as your fastest mon. Like his elf is decent, but like it doesn't stick around for very long since it's not very bulky.
Mhm.
And like sometimes it just uses a turn to set up rocks, and then it might just die that turn. You know, depending on what you're up against. So you have to be careful with his elf.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like, and he doesn't have really anything in terms of speed control. There doesn't have trick room or
Yeah,
web.
if he
So
had webs on this team would be
yeah,
fantastic, especially for the Blaze, because you would be able to use it as a special attack boost instead of likely going to have to be a speed boost.
exactly, yeah. Other than that, I personally love like the pair Mega Scissor with like a good electric to like full turn around, and his electric is Pikachu. So well,
Yeah, and you're probably not going to be using Volt Switch a huge amount on it with Light Ball.
yeah. But other than that, like I don't have a problem with this team. Like I could see myself
No,
using
it's a good
a
team.
team like this. Yeah.
There's just minus, like I said, the Garchomp Mega, so there's nothing that stands out as a massive problem
Hmm.
on the team that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
And I think part of that has to deal with the fact that he was so late in the draft.
Yeah. Oh well.
All right.
Moving on to
Risky.
number 9, Risky. Yeah.
Speaking of late in the draft, 16th manages to get Mew and Tapu Koko.
Yeah, that is the one thing about all of these unbans that you could just get away with like 2 top tier mons because everybody picks the shiny new broken stuff, you know.
I was really hoping. But
That
yeah,
being
no, this
said,
is
yeah, I think I actually had Risky a bit lower. I feel like he just lacks support for most of what he wants
this
to
is
do.
this is exactly where I had Risky.
Hmm.
Um, I have a lot of options. I do like the sticky web option. It helps with Virizion. And Excadrill if you don't want to run sand. However, I mean, it does get Rapid Spin. I assume that Excadrill will be coming to use Rapid Spin a decent amount. And that now changed in Gen 8. You'll be able to raise your speed. I love Tapu Koko as a Pokemon in general.
Same.
So any team with Tapu Koko on it, I think immediately gets a buff. It has so much versatility available to it. And then you throw that with Mew, the most versatile Pokemon, pretty much. So, got a physical wall breaker and Mega Charizard. I'm assuming you're likely going to try and use Koko as a special wall breaker. So you have your wall breakers there, but it lacks support.
Yeah. This is a super prep heavy team. I'll give it that. This isn't a team where you can just click buttons. You have to. This is a team you have to think about, like how you want to go around this.
Yeah, you need a specific plan coming into this matchup.
Both for Risky and against Risky, like depending on both sides of the coin there. But yeah, I find Mew needs a better dark or normal, especially dark, like as
Yeah,
a
that's
support. Which
true.
like his dark is Volibee. It's like what I mean. I don't know how often he's gonna bring that, but like it's a defogger that can't run boots. It's a rock weak defogger that can't run boots, which is already a bit man. You know, it's a super passive one. I think it still gets foul play, but it's a Volibee. Like, what are you gonna do with it?
Believe so, yeah.
And yeah, also
Yeah, the only other mon that would, like I said, for Darkspan would be Coco, and I still want to take a huge amount of damage with Coco.
Yeah. I mean, Coco is versatile enough that you can go a bit more bulky and like run Roost if you want to, but yeah.
Very true. But it
Um,
limits its
yeah.
options.
Also, his terrain, I don't think he really makes use of it greatly. I guess Mew and
Mm-mm.
Zard can get Thunder Punch. Mew can run electric coverage if it wants to. Usually doesn't need to. Usually you want different coverage on Mew. And I
Mm-mm.
guess Porygon can run Thunderbolt as well. But terrain also kind of gets in his own way a bit because you can't rest with Gigalith if it's up.
Yep.
Which I mentioned, yeah. So, that's something he's going to work around.
Yeah,
And
and
like,
then the
yeah,
sand core and everything, you basically have it with Excadrill, and there's really nothing else that's going to take
mm,
huge advantage of it.
yeah, I mean, Gigalith
Um,
already isn't the best sand setter, and
and better in the first place. Yeah, I see Gigalith coming more just maybe Stealth Rock, but then maybe even a potential for more of an offensive mon at times.
mm-hmm. I, what do you think about webs in this team? I'm not sure about it. I mean, it's not bad here, but it doesn't necessarily need it. A lot of his sweepers are already fast or can set up their speed in one way or the other.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, Virizion, I guess, would be the one mon that I would see that or Pori Z. But
Mm-hmm.
considering that you have fast mons in general, like Coco, Excadrill can set itself up, Mega Charizard X can set itself up. Z and
Even Mew
Virizion
if you
is,
really want to,
yeah, and those two mons and everything you could easily slap a choice scarf on and be perfectly fine with, especially Porygon Z.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm not sure how I feel about the webs. I think that you could find a better mon, a water type mon that you can use potentially more defensively, maybe even offensively with some bulk.
Yeah. Either one with recovery or one, yeah, that can do more than. I mean, I actually kind of like Reckoning on some matchups, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well,
Yeah.
I think that's it for Risky. Moving on to number 8, we got Chris, the Mega Galate Steela team. I think we reached the. This is like the top half. I think we now reached the part where I think all of the teams are good. Just some of them are just
Yeah.
slightly better than the rest.
Pretty much. Yeah. Um, Mega Glade Celesteela is nasty.
Yeah.
Um, but this is something that once I don't know how we all missed this and everything, but you and I both missed this, and now I just can't unsee it.
Mm-hmm.
He has no electric immunity.
Yeah. I do think that puts him down a lot lower. I used to have him, I think, at 3 or 4, and then Nim pointed it out, and like, oh yeah, that's actually big for this team because he has Stila and
Yeah,
Feeny. Like, people are gonna bring electric coverage, and you have nothing for that.
yeah. Your best mon is Serena and Blissey and Raikou. So
Yeah, I mean, you can take the hit, but like, you're just gonna get volt switched on, and they're gonna. If, let's say you're
exactly.
going to Blissey on their volt switch, and now they're going to their physical breaker. What do you do? That's
Yeah, and once you do that and everything, you could easily, just as easy, I'm assuming, you turn out, and it's the same thing with Serena.
yeah. So that is
Um,
the one huge weakness that I think this team has. Other than maybe also it could be faster. It's fast on as Raikou.
yeah, but the Volturn, you're very Volturn weak.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, that's not on there, but on
Yeah.
a more positive note,
Right.
since we started off with the negatives here, like I said, we said Mega Gallade, Celestial, that is a nasty combo right
Mm-hmm.
there. Like I said, I wish it was prepped a little better with the rest of your team. Has well support. It's pretty well supported for the Mega Gallade side, but the Celesteela
Yeah, I do
lacks
like.
a little bit.
I like a lot, like his choices. Like he immediately went for like a really good dart because Mangalade struggles a bit with like bulky psychic. So then he went Hydreigon. That's a
Mm-hmm.
perfectly good pick. That's something to go for. Tapu Fini, good bulky border, also protects you from statuses.
Yep.
Again, works well. Yeah, then he got some support. Serena, Blissey, but good. Nihilego, extra hazards. Yeah,
Yeah,
if it
and I
just
think part of it just falls off. I think just because of the fact that he got so many mons that are so high with points,
mm-hmm,
and he was forced to to get a couple of mons that were or lose a couple of aspects on his team. While Blissey is a massive special defensive wall and everything, I think that if he would have kind of broken Blissey down, gotten a couple of other options available with it, there's no ground type on his team.
Yeah, if it
So
just had like a fine ground type, I think this could be like top three easily.
yeah, yeah. He was originally, I think it was fifth or fourth for me.
Hmm.
So I mean, he was flirting with a really fantastic team here.
Yeah, at the end of the day, this like Stila Blissey is still going to be hard to break despite that weakness. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's still a really solid team, I think.
Yep.
Okay, moving on to number 7, Ghost with the Mega Diancie Rillaboom Kyurem team.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what I put down. Powerful top mons, like it's his top four. Just that's just draft staples right there.
Yeah, even with the addition of Slowking is fine. I
Yeah,
mean, I think what really kills it is the bottom three. Um,
yeah. Bottom three might as well not exist, honestly. I mean, Toxic
yeah,
Rogue, maybe I don't think I've ever really seen a Toxic Rogue in a draft match. Have you?
have and I haven't. I've drafted it once. I had a decent time with it,
Hmm.
but it's very match dependent. I brought it in a 12-week season twice. It got 8 kills, but I didn't bring it any other time because it would have gotten destroyed. So I think it's very match dependent.
Okay, I could say maybe he brings it every now and then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and if he does bring it, he needs to have it well supported. If it's well supported, it will do work for him. I just don't see it well supported.
yeah. His fastest mon is Mega Diancie, which is even slower than like previous ones with like the fast mons like Raikou or his Elf. Mega Diancie is 110.
Yeah,
That's his stop. That's where his curve ends.
yeah.
Which is
Um, Crocodile, I like the dark spam for it. However, with Rillaboom, you're setting up and everything, the grassy terrain, that's gonna kind of really cripple Crocodile with the ground spam.
yeah. You have to run high horsepower every game. It's only slightly weaker. I get it, but every now and then that move is gonna miss and it's gonna fuck you over. I'm just gonna tell you now that's happened to me
Yeah,
more
I
than
mean,
once.
I'm thinking for the electric types and everything that he's gonna want to hit with the ground moves and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically to help with the Slowking and the Corviknight, he's gonna have a hard time with now because of the Rillaboom.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he can go into Thundurus Therian as well. It's gonna eat the electric moves, but most electric Pokemon do have decent coverage.
Yeah, I mean, having both done the Crook, like he has a lot of anti-electric mons. He's not. He has Corviknight, so we need good electric switches, and he's got like 4 good electric switches. So I don't think that particularly will be an issue.
No, not the switch ins. I just think more or less hitting the electrics back
Oh yeah,
will
maybe
be an
yeah,
issue.
I can see that. But yeah, other than that, I also put down that Ice is kind of spamble. Like his only real switch in is Slowking.
Yeah,
So yeah, good thing he
there's not
already
many
has the
matches where
main.
you bring in Flareon.
Yeah, good thing he already has the main freeze Drymon, so he doesn't really have to worry about that. But yeah,
Yeah,
it is. If it's a nice moment coverage for Slowking, that could be an issue. But other than that, I think it's a
yeah,
fine team. Mega Diancie with Corviknight is already great support. You know,
yeah,
Kyurem benefits from terrain. Yes, more grounded monster benefits from terrain. It's still a fine team. Like I said, like his top 6, top 7 are all just really good mons, and that's just all something you always have to prep for.
yeah. And like I said, the other thing that I would think of, and that's something that I think we already determined a little bit with what's seeing this team already, is that some of those lower mons and everything, if he wants to bring those and keep those in and everything, he might have a hard time with
Mm-hmm.
setup.
Yeah.
There's nothing on his team once something sets up, specifically something that can hit Corviknight and Slowking. Um, once that like an electric type kind of sets up with Corviknight Slowking kind of out of the way and everything with
Mm-hmm.
decent coverage, it can kind of roll through the rest of this team. Or even something that is a different one but can at least cover the electric type
Yeah.
to hit the bulky mons like Corv and Slowking, you're gonna have a hard time. Because those are your main two defensive mons, both of which are weak to electric.
Yeah. Oh well. Good luck, guys. Hope it works out for you. Moving on to number 6, Uno, the Zamazenta team. This is an interesting one.
Yeah.
I think
I love this team.
Yeah, I think after the Zamazenta, I looked like, what does he do after that? Like, it's weak to ground, it's weak to fire, it's weak to fighting. So what does he do? He picks 3 mons, all of which are immune to ground, all three of which
You,
resist fighting, and two of which resist fire. So amazing support right there.
yeah, Zamazenta is going to be almost impossible to go down.
hmm yeah, even as a
I love Galarian Wheezing as a
even
mon. It's going to be so well used with this team because the Galarian Wheezing is covered very well as well.
yeah, even as a support like a cleric and Umbreon there to wish past the Zamazenta, which also is like whatever beats Umbreon can't touch a Zamazenta probably, so that's the safest switch in the world.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I think the one thing I put down is again it's a B drill. It's one of the strongest U-turners in the game. You could have paired that with a better electric one than Electros, at least in terms of like volt switch damage.
Yeah. hmm
That's a minor gripe with it. That's just when I see a B drill, I look at where's the electric type, and then could have been better.
Yeah, and I see the use for Electros as well. It's a good another good assault vest mon as well. It also gives him another ground immunity.
Yeah, I just including the Electros, he has what? He has three levitate bonds.
Yeah,
He has like five ground
Electro.
switch-ins. Yeah, including Tangrowth, he has like five ground switch-ins.
Yeah, and then Tangrowth basically eats ground type moves for breakfast, so
Yeah, you cannot click a ground move on this team. So good job there.
not at all. And the other thing that I know Mega Beedrill is bug type and everything, but the poison type hurts it, so the ground move on the Mega Beedrill wouldn't even be effective at this point anymore either.
Yeah. Also, he has great removal for the bee because bee's weak to rocks. But then those three monsters that I mentioned before,
Yeah,
Lagi,
he and
Weezing, Moltres,
Moltres, there's great removal.
all removal. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a really good team. Generally, yeah. Number 5, Gentleman Thomas, the Naganadel team. Again, I looked at this. I see he first pick Naganadel. What does he follow it up with? Slowbro, resist the ice, resist the psychic. Good job there. Then picks a really good fairy and Togekiss. Picks a steel later, Registeel, I think, as another ground immunity in Rotom Heat. Yeah. Even as Thwacky, if terrain, like if he wants to bring terrain, I don't know how bringable Thwacky is to a lot of games, but like he has the option.
Yeah, I was talking with him and everything because I was kind of figuring out and everything what he wanted to. I mean, I knew he had a fairy type, but I still wanted to double check and everything what he wanted to do, mega wise. So when we were trying to figure some stuff out there and everything, he told me he originally wanted Rillaboom was his original grass type, and then in the time that got drafted and he was trying to figure out what grass type he wanted, like three other grass types of his got sniped. And at that point, there he just stopped and continued just drafting the rest of his team and got to it when he got to it.
Yeah, that is draft,
So
which is understandable.
he
Like,
can
yeah.
always use Savali as a grass type as well. So
Yeah, if he wants to, yeah, that's not a bad pick here. I was thinking like, what's Savali going to be at? Obviously, Ghost could be a good option too.
yeah, Ghost and Grass.
Yep, the speed tiers are pretty decent. Other than that, Mega Absol 115. How fast is Naganadel again? I forgot.
Yep, hazard removal is fantastic.
Mm.
Rapid spin, defog, magic bounce. I mean, it's going to be hard to set up on this team any kind of hazards that are going to be able to do much. Naganadel gets rid of the speed spikes on entry. So,
Yeah, he is slightly
yeah,
Edgequake weak. I think like he has a slow bro, so he's probably fine. But
slightly,
yeah,
yeah.
slow bro, Dunfan, like who don't resist Quake, but like at least they can take the hit usually. So
Yeah.
it's not the biggest deal in the world, just minor gripe.
Yep. Overall, really good team.
Yep. Okay. Number 4, Sub Zero, the Ash Ninja team. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think
This nasty,
this is an amazing team. Yeah, the speed tiers are godlike. I think no
pretty
really
much.
big type weaknesses. Yeah, the only thing we pointed down, like he doesn't have a fire type.
Yeah,
Personally, I don't
but
think.
it's covered well.
Yeah, I don't think he needs it. He has like Zap, Slowking, Mamoswine, who all like beat grasses.
Yep.
Yeah, he has multiple things that
And
like
his
resist ice and fire,
and for
like
steel
Melodic.
and everything, steel types. I mean, assuming Mammal Swine. I mean, you'll be able to come in against the ground type and everything. I mean, the steel type.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, EQ is there. Just need to be careful about the weakness yourself. But I mean, you have throw there as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't know how good Throw is. I've never used it, but
I haven't either. I haven't seen anybody use it ever.
It's like
So
budget Hariyama who already is budget Kong. So like,
pretty much.
well, yeah, just powerful team. Just if you can flip that Greninja, you're gonna go to town. I think.
I do want to mention that round 10 Haxorus.
Yeah, it's a
um,
decent dragon. I've no problem with an Axorus.
yeah, I'm just saying. Let's mention this round 10 Haxorus pickup. It's fantastic.
Mm. Yeah.
So yeah, overall and everything, this is going to be a really nasty team.
Yeah. Moving on to the top three. This was really hard to pick between. By the way, where we are now, top three. We went
Yeah,
we went
even
back and forth on
sub,
this.
even for sub and everything, I'm pretty sure sub cracked the top three um for Nim.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah. Uh,
So
yeah, but Hawaiian Shaman did make my top three. It's the Darkrai team.
name.
Again, we had trouble just finding out like what was bad about this team. We had trouble finding out like something to put with the weakness here.
We loved it.
Yeah,
There's just it's there are better teams with more threats, I think the main reason why I didn't put it higher.
mm-hmm.
But as for synergy and just overall well build, I honestly say this would probably be the number one team.
Easily. Yeah, I think the Darkrai
It's
which
just
immediately
so well built.
followed up with the Victini. I think is an amazing pair there. Like Victini deals with steals, then you switch into fairies. You know, can deal with bugs.
Yeah, and then you bring Keldeo in, and it's
Yeah, and then followed up with like another two more switch-ins to fairies, Nidoking, Skarmory. Yeah, he has amazing hazard support in Skarm. He has another defogger there, Superior, Mega Altaria. You always have to be careful not that it sets up either defensively or offensively, physically, especially. You don't know what it's gonna do.
Rotom prevents Rapid Spin.
Uh, yeah, maybe if you bring Rotom. I didn't put too much stock into Rotom, but you know, if you want to bring it, bring it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think this is a fantastic team.
I see Rotom more as a ghost type than I think I'll do as an electric type on this team.
Mm. Also, one thing to mention here: Serp glaring into like Darkrai Dark Pulses is nasty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be able to help clean things up and everything. Keldeo Victini will be able to do more. With the superior role with Glare, Mega Altaria. So, yeah, I really
Yep.
don't see any problems
Yeah.
with this team. I love it.
Great team. I think like top three, good contender. Let's see who was second, and which is Shade, and then you also know who is first if you've been keeping track.
Yep.
But let's mention Shade first. It's the GalacticEmpire team. It supported that amazingly. He immediately picked like the best fairy in the game, Clefable.
Yeah, it's not really fair at this point.
Yeah, it's like what do you do? Yeah, then he picked up like Infernape as a firefighting that also just deals with a lot of the monsters that Alakazam can't touch. Amazing hazard support. He picked up Gliscor, Rose Raid after that with Blastoise. Like he can set up hazards, can remove hazards. He kind of does everything. The speed tiers are great. Goes 108 Infernape, 125 Swell, and then 150 Alakazam. Like and below that there's 90 Gliscor. Like it's an
Yeah.
amazing team. I think the only slight gripe I put down here is like his steel could have been better. Like I don't think Copper Raja is that good, but
Yeah, I can agree with that.
that's about it.
Yeah.
That's honestly about it. This team is amazing.
Yeah.
Even like also. Oh no, wait, never mind. Sorry, thinking of something else. I thought he had psychic terrain for a second, but he doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, imagine. But yeah, you have anything else you want to say about this, or?
Just the fact that if he actually had psychic terrain, that you should probably just forfeit.
Yeah, also with the blasters, with the terrain pulse. Yeah, I have making an Alakazam team that is eerily similar to this, and I can't wait to use it. It looks so strong.
Yep.
All right, and then the number one, which is Azarine,
And
unexpectedly.
this was unanimous, I think, wasn't it?
I think this was this is the one thing we all agreed on. I think all of us had the Azarine number one. What do you do against Lando I with Mawile? Honestly, what do you do?
Yeah, you don't do. You die.
I think like yeah, the few things I can think of that like could switch into either one of those gets absolutely destroyed by the other.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, the only thing I can think of, maybe, yeah, no, I
Yeah,
can't,
no,
I can't
okay,
think
yeah,
of
no,
anything.
done. Yeah, that's like the one thing about like what pick was he? Like 17 or 18 or something, right? He was like pretty late.
I'm pretty sure he was like 15
15. Okay,
or
fair enough.
14. No, 14. I think he was
Okay,
14.
okay, fair enough. Like yeah, that's the thing. You if it wasn't for all those unbanned months, you cannot get away with a team like this.
No, absolutely not.
So if there's anybody who really took advantage of that, it's Azrin.
Yeah.
All right, let's actually talk about the rest of his team here. We followed it up with Road and Marsh, amazing. Just great fire switch in, remove hazards, momentum in and out into your breakers. Powerful Terrakion destroys darks, destroys darks, destroys steals, the stuff that
Hmm.
Marwell can't deal with, and that you might not want to switch Lando into. You have that Terrakion there. The Muck, grounded poison, deal with the toxic spice and everything. It knocks. Good poison. Ladi there, Talonflame for the also more removal, more momentum. It's yeah, the one thing we put down like lacking a true cleric, like Miltank can heal Bell. I guess Ladios can wish, but I don't see it as a problem at all. Like the one thing that kind of could use, I mean, Marwell and Mok could I guess both use a cleric, but Mok has ways of restoring health, and Mar just clicks moves, so who cares?
Pretty much.
Yeah, this team is absolutely bonkers. It's easily the top pick, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's not my favorite team, but in terms of where it stands compared to the others, the team is so well put together. Like there's really no major weaknesses that anybody can exploit with the team. You need some kind of master plan in order to, assuming Azarine plays it well. I don't even know if a master plan could even take this team down. I mean, you're gonna need to do some weird stuff and focus. I think maybe paralyzing a couple of things might be helpful since you're
Mm-hmm.
lacking true clerics.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Miltank gets heal bell. Um, so maybe, like I said, T waves, kind of maybe whittling some stuff down
I guess.
on this team.
Yeah.
I think would be the best way to go around it is kind of um, stopping it from hurting you before you start to hurt it.
Yeah, that's one. Like usually, if I see a team that I just can't that I just can't defensively stop, I go HO, go hyper offense, and hope to be able to take
Yeah,
down more months and then get swept off of my board. But yeah, you're gonna have to sweat against this team. It's rough.
yeah,
All right, and I think that about does it.
yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining, Galactic, and yeah,
Yeah, no problem.
everybody, good luck in the season. Bye bye.